like I think a lot of people are kind of on bated breath right now. Like in my mind, there's probably like 50 celebrities, and listen, Ashton Kutcher, Pink, Usher, all of them, who every time their phone rings, their heart drops. Over this past like few weeks or whatever.
Welcome back, everybody. This is Soundbites, a part of the Alpha Mode podcast where we're talking about the music, the culture, the internet, and the legal battles that are happening within the music culture that we exist in today. My name is DeMar Grant, aka King Grant, aka the Bunny. I'm excising the munch. I'm out. I'm out. But I will forever be a bunny. Bunnies never die. New jeans never die. Okay.
There you go.
I heard the new snippet.
I didn't hear it.
I've been sending you the new snippet. Anyways.
I haven't opened Insta to actually watch things.
Anyways, I'm DeMar Grant, and I'm here with my esteemed co-host, co-creator, Adriel Smiley, aka AdrielSmiley.com, aka Mr. Smiley, aka Adriel Smiley Official, aka The Godfather. Adriel Smiley, we are back. This time, we are talking about the infamous P. Diddy, Sean Diddy, Combs, Puff Daddy, Puffy, the Diddler? Why does he have so many names? Sean Puff Daddy Combs is in the news again. And this time we're looking at 120 alleged accusers coming forward against P. Diddy, Puff Daddy, Sean Diddy Combs. And it is looking disastrous.
Yeah, I think the number being plotted of 120 people, 25 of them being minors, that is probably the craziest headline we've got.
120 new sexual assault allegations. 120 people. We're talking triple digits.
No, triple digits. And I think, two things from this report that stood out to me is going back to 1991. Like, that is older than both of us. Like, and I think, like, that is the craziest part because this is something where it seemed like everybody knew. And I'll every time we talk about this, I'm going to stress that. Mm-hmm. Like, this is not a situation where, for example, when Bill Cosby got brought to the podium, a lot of people could not believe it. They were shocked.
Yeah.
Now, behind the scenes, there have been some stories, some kind of, why aren't they this close, that kind of deal. But a lot of people were like, did not know anything about this. With Diddy, basically no one is saying that. I have not heard anyone come out and say,
no way.
I had no idea.
It wasn't him. I can't believe it.
Everybody knew. So I think that is what makes this really, really troubling to me, is that this is something that everyone has known about for 30 years.
Yeah. It was an open secret, though. It was like an open secret.
And I think like this is, and why I'm mentioning that is 120 people with a range of sexual abuse claims, 25 being minors. The youngest victim at the time of the occurrence was 9 years old. Individuals who were 14 and 15 years old. The group of clients consists of 60 men and 60 women. I think like that is what makes this being an open secret so troubling, is that all of this is troubling. The reports now that the baby oil is not baby oil and is infused with some drug that is a date rape drug. Like all these things being an open secret. It's like an open secret is like, they cheat on their wife.
An open secret is like Asia Wilson dating Bam Adebayo.
Thank you.
Okay.
A perfect example. That's a real open secret.
Yeah.
This is like, call the authorities, hide your kids, hide your wife. Like, that's what this is.
Yeah.
So for this to be, I guess, coming to the light now is very interesting because in this report, we heard a lot from the lawyer, and I think that really informs of like, how this is going to go in terms of going against Diddy. And he said, they all intend to bring civil claims in civil court. So I think, obviously people want him in jail, but I think a lot of people are going to get getting paid.
Yeah.
Diddy was for hip-hop's first billionaire. Or no, I think that Dr. Dre was still first billionaire.
Yeah.
Diddy followed shortly after. So I think all that billion...
Yeah, it's about to be flushed out.
It's about to be gone. And as well, him including other people like possible co-defendants who are described as accomplices, silent bystanders, enablers, and corporate entities such as hotels, banks, and even pharmaceutical companies. And why that's important is because this like string is almost like an episode of The Wire where all the things are connecting and they go together, because that video that came out a few months ago now of Diddy assaulting Cassie in that hotel.
Mm-hmm.
Now, when that came out, the report was that the hotel was paid to get rid of that footage.
Right.
Think about how many hotels
I've been paid to get rid of that footage
that are aware that this has been going on.
Yeah.
And I think that to me is where it's like, for sure, the celebrity names is going to be the big deal. But I think, one, a 9-year-old is absolutely insane. And then hotels, banks, even pharmaceutical companies being involved, that's going to be big as well.
Yeah, I think that because we're talking about, again, it was like an open secret. People knew Diddy was like on some next shit. And it wasn't even something that people whispered. It was like known. This was known, right? So that's why so many people and so many things can be drawn in. The amount of money that he was using to protect himself also, like, basically, it involves so many other different companies knowing, right? Different hotels knowing, different people knowing, but getting paid off by him to either not report him, either to destroy evidence, right? Because the hotel footage, that's evidence, bro.
Yeah.
That's evidence. So that's how everybody can get pulled in, because he was so rich and able to maneuver in a way that gave him like a feeling of impunity. It exposed a ton of people, right? In a way that they can all be part of like a civil lawsuit, even the fucking criminal shit that he's involved with. There's gonna probably be a ton of people getting drawn into that as well, right? So that's what's basically like, it's kind of like, tendrils are sticking out, but then like they got exposed and like people are pulling at the tendrils like, wait, what are these actually attached to?
And that's what makes this report so interesting is, of course, the numbers that you hear. 9 years old, 120 clients, 60 men, 60 women. But it's the fact that the lawyer, Busby, who's representing all these clients, plans to go after the accomplices. Like, I think that's the biggest part. Is like, he's like, no, all y'all are not safe. Banks, I'm coming for y'all too.
Yeah.
Hotels coming for y'all too. Silent bystanders coming for y'all too. So that is something that we were talked about on the last podcast. How is that going to go? Who's going to get exposed? We weren't really sure about that.
Yeah.
I think in this case, him saying, no, people are going to get exposed.
Yeah.
That is big news.
Naming names.
That's big news to me. And he literally said in this, I expect that through this process, many powerful people will be exposed. Some of this behavior occurred at private residences of people that we all know. The names that we're going to name, assuming that our investigators confirm and corroborate, we've been told, are names that will shock you.
Right.
I think just hearing that alone is like obviously very vague and shady, and no one in particular, of course. But I think that the fact that that is what's coming out in the press, like, imagine what's going to come out once the trial actually starts. And they plan to bring these forward, start filing the lawsuits in the next 30 days.
Yeah.
So this is going to be happening fast and furious. Your Christmas dinner, your Thanksgiving dinner,
we're going to be talking
Diddy
about this.
will be talked about.
Yeah.
Like, people who are a part of this will be brought up, will come to the light in the next few days, few weeks. So I think that's my biggest thing is I'm interested to see who gets kind of brought out and who are the accomplices. Because I think that this being an open secret, how are we placing guilt and who we're placing guilt on? Because people, like, I remember there's someone online who's been saying, and I'm not going to give her credit, but if you guys have been online, you know who she is. She's been saying that this is a lot of Jennifer Lopez's fault.
Allegedly. Because
she knew what was going on. She was a part of the freak-offs. And, if she had said something, a lot of this maybe wouldn't have happened. And people would have listened to her, and Cassie wouldn't have went through what she went through, et cetera, et cetera. Someone like J-Lo publicly was with Diddy. We know what that is. How complicit is she? At this point, we just know you dated him. That doesn't mean everything else. But for example, if that name comes out, how will people react? And so that's what I'm interested to see of how will the public treat the people who are accomplices to Diddy?
Yeah, that's a great question, because people who are involved or allegedly involved, possibly involved, they're like on a power trip. Because doing shit like this, doing what Diddy allegedly did, trying to protect ourselves being a billionaire, but doing the things that he allegedly did, it's like not even a sexual thing. It's like a power thing.
100%.
Right? And to be included in that circle to excise that type of power, those people also get like a power trip on that shit too. So when it comes to like the public, when like they're gonna be shown to the public, I think it's just gonna be like, people are gonna be like, I can't believe this person's even included. Like, I didn't realize that they would be like that or could be like that or even being in a circle like that. Because it could even be like these most, I would say, even obscure people, to obscure in the sense that why would they be involved? Like, why would you involve X person or Y persons? Because like they're getting that power,
that rush,
that power trip of being involved and being somebody that's an alleged perpetrator like Diddy in some effect, right? So that's what it's gonna be like. How the people respond to it, I think, is like gonna be like almost like confusion, but then also like, wow, I can't believe that. You know what I mean?
Because I think it's gonna involve so many people that it's gonna put doubt in just celebrities and entertainers in general. I think the Epstein case, even though the list did eventually come out, the way that trial went, it had enough space between the actual trial and the list coming out and who was involved, where it was more political than entertainers. Not everyone knows every politician on that list.
Right.
I think there's obviously some big name politicians on that list, but not everyone knows everyone on that list. With this one, everyone is going to be someone you've heard of.
Yeah, they're a celebrity.
Celebrity, yeah. And so I think that's a big part of this one, where it's like, now you're going to question basically every celebrity, because I think that certain celebrities, I think even before this, a lot of people didn't think of Diddy as any type of way before this.
You're a different dude. You're a different person.
No, but it's similar to Trump. If you listen to music that came before Trump was in office, Trump was a symbol of wealth and success.
That's true.
And so it's like Diddy was in that same vein of like, you're trying to say you're popping, I'm with Diddy. That was like a phrase everyone used to say. So I think that we're going to have a lot of celebrities who we look at, they stand for certain things, their image means certain things to certain people. You're going to be like, no, that's over with. That's done. The point you brought up about power, I think, is huge. It reminds me of this line in House of Cards where someone says, everything in life is about sex except sex. Sex is about power. And I thought about that a lot with this, because I think that a lot of the talk before these reports came out was really troubling in terms of people trying to defend him or say, we don't know what he did, or maybe it's not that bad. And I think that and especially with men, there's this line of like,
especially black men, bro.
Especially black men. Once things are kind of sexually free in a certain space, it's almost as if everything goes. And I think the idea of that, these were like orgies and everyone sleeping with everyone else, made it seem like, okay, everyone's just doing that, so maybe the lines got blurred. And I'm like, no, this was mostly non-consensual. Like, this is mostly him actually violating these people's rights. And so I think these reports now can put all that to bed, of it not having to be like, oh, it's maybe they're just not understanding. No, we understand. This is completely, we understand. And then last but not least for me, I'm really holding on to the lawyer's words. Like, everything the lawyer is saying in this, I'm really like doing the deep YouTube dive of like triple entendre, because this is the first time hearing from him in this way. And as well, like, I think a lot of people are kind of on bated breath right now. Like, in my mind, there's probably like 50 celebrities, and listen, Ashton Kutcher, Pink, Usher, all of them, who every time their phone rings, their heart drops over this past like few weeks or whatever. And I think that this is going to be kind of the end for them or the beginning for them, and in whichever way you want to look at it for each person. Now, Busby says, I would imagine as we speak here, there are a myriad of people who are very nervous. You can't hide skeletons in your closet forever. I would expect there are many people out there right now who are desperately searching their memories as they delete their texts and data. And I mentioned that because the two people I've named before, Usher and Pink, both deleted their whole Twitter.
Oh, facts.
So when I think about stuff like that, it's like, these people are implicated in something like this, where just being associated with Diddy. There's no silver lining to this.
No.
There's no way. So I think that's what's gonna be coming forward is like the stuff he's doing is so like date rape baby oil is absolutely insane. Absolutely insane. And so it's like you being even a bystander for any of this is not going to go over well.
Yeah.
So I think that no matter how involved someone is, just having their name associated with it is not going to go well.
Yeah, I don't think so. I think Diddy's name is kind of like so corrosive at this point in time.
Facts.
It's actually unbelievable. People that surrounded Diddy in some sort of way, it's gotta be like you wake up every morning in a cold sweat.
Oh, for sure.
You know, like you hear a car drive by the house and you're peeping out the window like, is it them? You know, who is it? You know, people knocking on the doors. You know, you've been hiding under the bed because this is, I mean, if you know somebody, we really need to understand 120 people coming out against you is actually unbelievably
insane.
Yeah, like it's actually who else? Like, can you even name another person that's had like R. Kelly is probably even the closest.
That's cult stuff.
Yeah,
like
exactly.
That's cult stuff.
Real shit. So I think that this scale is so unbelievable. And this is just people that accuse, right? So you're probably even like people who are older that didn't want to even be involved. People that are younger that are scared, right? So you're getting to this zone where even the 120, this is like the good, like this is like the good crop of people who are I'm comfortable, right? But there's probably, and this is like with any case like this is like there's probably like 2x, 1.5x of the amount of people that are afraid or don't want to be involved, right?
I think there's even more to that because a lot of these people are celebrities as well.
Yeah.
Like, I think celebrities probably don't want to come out and say that they are a part of this in terms of being a bystander on the side of Diddy or that they were assaulted by Diddy.
Yeah.
And the fact that there's men and women an equal amount in this case is like, think about the homophobia of hip hop and the black community. The chance of a rapper coming out and saying Diddy sexually assaulted me.
So crazy low.
So low. So it's like, this is the group, right? This is a small group of the bigger group.
Yeah.
Where the bigger group doesn't want to come forward. And this is the last thing we're going to say before we, get out of here. What is going to be the burden of proof? We mentioned that just being associated with Diddy at this point is just bad news bears. Everyone who's against Diddy, like the 50 Cents of the world, y'all look great right now.
He's up, who is anybody more up than 50 Cent right now?
Great right now. Like 50 Cent and Mase, those two guys, right side of history. Right side of history.
Yeah.
But my question is, how will that go? Because I think that there's almost gonna be that like gray area of your name's mentioned, but is it mentioned the part you played?
Oh.
Because remember, Meek Mill was mentioned in a report that came out a few months ago, and he's been pissed about that ever since. But that's what started this whole Meek Mill rumor with Diddy was he was just mentioned that he was involved, like in a relationship with Diddy,
and people are blowing him up on social media in every way.
And I think, like, if you use that as kind of precedent for what's about to come, you explaining yourself is not going to be a thing here. Like, there will not be the chance for you to say, no, I think you just being involved is going to be iffy. And I think what we've learned over the past few months with the Drake and Kendrick beef, that some accusations stick.
And some don't.
And some don't. We talked about this months ago of DJ Academics being charged with rape.
Haven't heard the case since.
Haven't heard the case since. And he's still streaming like it's nobody's business.
Yeah.
And so my question is, in this case, how is that going to be who sticks and who doesn't? That's kind of my thing is, I would love to stick with everybody and we just cancel everyone all at once, like a huge group canceling. But I always think of, like, when it comes to these situations, who gets that label and who doesn't is almost random. I've brought up before the idea of Chris Brown and Dr. Dre.
Same shit.
Dr. Dre is a billionaire who did the Super Bowl 2 years ago. Chris Brown is still not able to go on certain platforms.
Yeah.
So it's like, when this comes out about people who are involved with Diddy, who will get the pass from society, from the culture, for whatever reason, and who will not?
Yeah, I think that it is twofold. It's or threefold. How directly associated you are is going to be a clear measure.
Mm-hmm.
How famous you are is going to be another measure. And then how involved is your fan base in your stardom?
Ooh.
Right? For somebody like, we'll use current examples of, let's say, nefarious allegations.
Okay.
Drake, right? Immensely popular. Whether or not things happen are dubious.
Yep.
His core fan base, like, it matters in a sense that, like, they're always going to listen to Drake's music, but Drake is so ever present as an artist that it can slow off, and he's gonna be like a year from now, he's gonna be okay.
He's gonna be fine, yeah.
Right? Same thing, like another artist like this is like Michael Jackson, right? Again, the allegations were a little bit crazy, right? You went to court, and he wasn't. I don't even think he ever got
didn't get convicted,
right? And then his celebrity was so enormous that
he was fine.
Is there even a thing as a core Michael Jackson fan that's like Michael Jackson was so famous that he could just lose a group and like you wouldn't notice. There's still gonna be people screaming outside of his window, right? So if you're, a smaller artist, right, that is very involved and your fan base is like pushing you, you're fucked. Also, if you're a big artist and the fan base is still very associated with you, it's gonna hurt. But it's those type of artists who are big. It's like you can be big or small, right? And then your fan base, depending on how virtuous or morally obligated your fan base is, that is gonna determine how much it impacts you.
I think we're gonna find out. I think that this is gonna actually, inform us on how this is going to go going forward.
Yeah.
I think the world is going to become a world where, like, post the idea of canceling, it's very much perception based in a whole different way than it was before. And I think this is really going to inform us on how that world is going to be 10, 20 years from now. Because I think there are a bunch of people who Justin Trudeau, for example. Older Jamaicans will stand by that man no matter what he does.
Right.
He can't be canceled to them. Now, there's someone like Trump who, for a lot of people, canceled almost right away.
Yeah.
But there's another group who's like...
They're in.
And no matter what he's accused of, convicted of...
Doesn't matter.
And so I think that there's going to be a kind of a line in the sand where we see, how much that is or isn't the case. I think, like, for someone like Jay-Z, his name's been brought up a lot. His name has been brought up a whole lot. Will people stop listening to Jay-Z? I don't think so.
Yeah, no.
But we're gonna see that firsthand of what that threshold is. I think this is a great place for us to wrap.
Yeah.
It's really unfortunate we have to keep coming back here, but I feel like we're gonna be here for the next 6 months at least.
Yeah, one of the most important stories in music.
History.
Just music, yeah.
History.
Especially when we're considering how prevalent, how nefarious, and how long. It's just been going on 30 years, bro. That's actually ludicrous.
Yeah, no, this is one of the biggest stories in music history.
Yeah, so
it's unfortunate, but I think this is gonna really affect how the whole industry moves going forward. So this is obviously very important.
Yeah.
Just to culture and music in general. I want to know what you guys think in the comments. I want to know, stream of consciousness, all your thoughts in the comments. On our last sound bites, we had some great comments.
Yes, we did.
We really appreciate everyone showing us some love in the comment section. Do that again here. Of course, make sure you like this video and make sure you're subscribed. Find us on the interwebs at Album Mode Pod on Twitter, Album Mode Pod on Instagram, Album Mode Pod on TikTok. And until next time, know yourself, know your worth.
New jeans forever.